Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? It's day 14 of RPG A Day 2021. 2 weeks in. And our word for today, or the word I've chosen for today out of the several prompts, is momentum. And I don't know how true this really is, but a long, long time ago I heard that a stationary freight train can be held in place, unable to move forward, if you put just a relatively small block of wood on the tracks. I'm not sure exactly how true that is, but it's certainly not going to go through a brick wall if one is built right in front of it. Now you get that freight train up to speed, and it's going to go right through a brick wall, crush the block of wood, probably go through a brick house, maybe a few of them, maybe a brick factory. Not really sure. I'd like to try that out. That'd be kind of cool. Kind of like that old Plasmatics video with the truck through the TVs, but cooler. Yeah, it's kind of a shame I can't do that. But anyhow, this video isn't about that. Where is it? So, momentum in a role-playing game is a beautiful thing when it's just kind of chugging along and it seems kind of effortless. And it can be a little hard to get it there in the first place. Nobody wants to sit around not really doing anything and just kind of wondering what's going on. And in the beginning too, I don't want to have to necessarily like interject a ton of energy into a game. I don't want to show up to an RPG session all the time and have it really feel like work. And sometimes they feel like a little bit of work. But fortunately, as we mature as gamers, as we gain some experience, we learn how to gain that critical mass faster and, get momentum in the game. So it is just kind of this unstoppable force. And, sometimes, what I've learned, and it's been my experience, that like getting on the same page genre-wise, really understanding, all understanding, what are we going for here? That can really, really help, with game momentum. Because I don't believe it's just the responsibility of, like, say, the game master to make sure there's momentum. It's everybody's responsibility. So, all getting on the same page, bringing appropriate characters to the game, whether it's a one-shot or whether it's going to be a campaign, kind of removing as many barriers to that critical mass happening or that momentum happening as possible. Really, just like having a sense of buy-in and engagement with the game, really being there, being like, this is what we're going to do, really paying attention to what's going on, what everybody else is doing, listening, like I talked about before, having a sense of buy-in, like, here's what we agreed to play, here's the genre, here's the scenario, that kind of stuff, really, really helps. And after that, it becomes a matter of, like in the beginning of a one-shot or of a campaign of several sessions. Sometimes it helps to start things off with a bang. Boom, here's what's going on. And so it's less of like you meet in a tavern and more of a boom, here's what's, sometimes in medias res, all that kind of stuff can really, really help. Just the one shot that Anthony ran from us very recently with Leagues of Cthulhu where, we're all in the barn and, well, we found this federal agent on the land. Not only do we find him, but he's been beat up and everything else because we beat him up. Now what do we do? What are we going to do with him? Boom, bang, stuff happened. That's really cool. And at that point, at the beginning, we're kind of like giving this train the push, and we all kind of jump on, start shoveling the metaphorical coal into the furnace and whatever else you do on a freight train to get it going. And, we're all kind of pushing in that same direction. And at first, it can feel a little artificial and stilted because, even though we may show up with appropriate characters with motivations and stuff, we're still not exactly sure what the relationships are. But as play goes on, as we learn who these characters are, as we kind of wrap our heads around the scenario or what's going on, as the characters start to interact with each other, as they start to interact with the environment, the game starts to take on a personality, doesn't it? And we get to this point where it seems effortless. We've achieved this critical mass, like my friend Jose likes to say, which I really like that term more than momentum, because momentum kind of implies that we're going in a direction. We have maybe we're all getting in line. We're going to do what the game master has planned. Or I don't mean that. I just mean it's got this critical mass where it becomes this living, breathing organism. And yeah, sure, we're really all still pouring energy into the game, aren't we? But it seems effortless. We know what to do. We're reacting and responding to one another, and it's really got this life of its own. It's got this personality, and we've achieved that wonderful critical mass where the sessions are just vibrant, alive, and have this personality, and it no longer feels like work. It feels like fun. This can happen very quickly in an initial session or a one-shot, but it really has this special thing that happens in a campaign. And we had a really great example of that recently in our Star Wars game when Aloy, after several sessions with having things planned, had something that was a little less planned, and we kind of had to figure out what we were going to do, how we were going to approach this problem as rebels. And we know the characters now, and it was easier, and it took us a second, but boom, we got this critical mass, and now we're going off like gangbusters. Pretty cool stuff. So momentum, that's a really cool thing when you have it in your game, and once you learn how to get there, and you're all pulling in the same direction, it's awesome. Take it easy, kids. Talk to you later.